Both these sides know that victory today would take them top of the table with 10 points from 4 games. Leicester City, of course, only narrowly avoided relegation last time around. A vastly improved time of things this season under Willie Kirk in his first full season in charge, having unexpectedly stepped into the dugout from being director of football with Lydia Bedford's departure last season. As for Manchester City, they do at that table. Aston Villa still winless after that defeat against Spurs. 4 losses for them so far. Newly promoted Bristol City also struggling up the top end. As you can see, Manchester City and Leicester City both knowing that a win today would take them top, albeit Emma Hayes' Chelsea will have a chance to say something about that tomorrow as well. Aileen Whelan will be a key figure for Leicester City up front today, with all of her experience. Joined in the summer of 2022 from Brighton and was hugely important in helping keep the Foxes up last season. And at the other end of the pitch, of course, a certain German in the form of Janina Leipzig was equally important. Came in mid-season from Bayern Munich and they managed to make that loan signing a permanent transfer in the summer, which was one of the most notable and impressive pieces of transfer business in the WSL. She described it as something of an easy decision to stay. And there is Khadija Bunny Shaw, who that duel against Leipzig will be huge today. 3 goals in 3 league games already for the Jamaican so far this season. She has 14 goals and 5 assists in 14 WSL starts in this calendar year. No player has been involved in more goals in 2023 in the WSL than Khadija Bunny Shaw. Of course, feeding her will be a certain Chloe Kelly, who is always one to keep an eye out on for club and country. So dangerous, 2-footed, quick, skillful, and an inspiration to so many across the world as well. So often on the other flank to her today, but not today in the starting 11, a certain Lauren Hemp, Norfolk's finest, a pretty handy player to bring on, to say the very least. Gareth Taylor needs to go in that direction later on. For now, it will be the talented young Australian Mary Fowler, who's on the other side of that attacking triumvirate with Kelly, trying to feed Shaw up top. Plenty have made the trip down from Manchester, hoping to have that journey feel nice and short with 3 points in their back pocket. Plenty of home fans as well, eager to see the Foxes cause something of a surprise with the fearless attacking football that they've played so far this season. So kick-off a mere 5 minutes or so away here at the King Power Stadium for Leicester City versus Manchester City, who have never lost to the Foxes since going fully professional in 2014. Across 10 meetings in all competitions. Leicester City on the left in their dark blue that they're also known for on their own patch. Manchester City in the white tracksuits. 2 teams who've had excellent starts to the season then in Leicester City and Manchester City, both with 7 points to show from their 3 games so far, and both aware that victory here will take them top of the table for Saturday night at least. Manchester City above their opponents on goal difference coming into this one, and top of the table coming into this match day. Spurs have taken that off them with victory at Aston Villa, but that could change in a couple of hours' time, or so they hope it will change. Remarkable improvement for Leicester City, of course, who were scraping to fight a way to survive last season. It's a testament to how far Willie Kirk has taken it. Let's have a look at the Foxes lineup, and Kirk has spoken about how his side have more strength and depth in the squad this season, and that gives him the flexibility to change things. Julie Thibault comes in. She played with Khadija Bunny-Shaw at Bordeaux and has told her manager that that ability of being an old teammate of her will help her to quieten Bunny-Shaw at the back. Hannah Kane and Jutta Rantala also come in. Josie Green makes way in defence. Janice Kamen and Missy Goodwin further forward also dropped to the bench. Leicester, of course, getting a very creditable 1-1 draw against Manchester United, now seeking joy against the light blue half of Manchester, who are unchanged from the team that won 5-0 against Bristol City. All goals scored in the first half, and all 5 of them headers, the WSL record. No changes for the Citizens. 8 of their players have started all 4 league games of the season so far. Esme Morgan, Philippa Angeldau and Khadija Bunny-Shaw, the only 3 in that 11 who've not been in the 11 in all 4 starting lineups. Manchester City in their changed maroon and white kit. Jill Roord, a rare addition in the summer, very much more a case of continuity for the Citizens. Of course, bringing their loan players back into the fold as well, having picked up valuable experience elsewhere. And today we remember the innocent victims of the devastating events in Israel and Palestine. Our thoughts are with them, their friends and families, and with all the communities affected by this ongoing conflict. Today we stand for humanity and an end to the death, violence, fear and suffering. There'll be a minute's silence here at the King Power. An impeccably observed minute's silence here at the King Power Stadium for all those affected by events in Israel and Palestine. So Leicester City looking to spring another surprise. They almost managed to beat Manchester United. Hayley Whelan's goal had them in front on the hour mark. They were pegged back by Maya Letizier's equaliser. And if you look at the back end of last season and the start of this season, they've taken 16 points from 9 games. It's a remarkable run to not only secure survival, but really press on. The chat coming out of the Leicester City camp at the start of this season was about a top half finish. And they've certainly shown that's very attainable with their early form. Moment to take a stand by taking a knee against all forms of racism and discrimination. Really important that sport is a space for all of us to enjoy, regardless of one's identity. After a slight false start, off and underway here at the King Power Stadium for Leicester City versus Manchester City. Very warm welcome to you, wherever you are across the world, for it. Manchester City in the white and maroon, attacking from right to left as we look at things from our commentary box in this first half. Leicester City in the dark blue, kicking from left to right. Both these sides with 2 wins and a draw to show from their first 3 games of the season. As early on, here come the home side through Shannon O'Brien. Well cut out. That is something to keep an eye out on. O'Brien has been excellent for Leicester City in the wide areas this season. Hannah Kane will add pace down the other flank as well. There's Lena Paterman, who's been a really handy signing. Paterman driving into the box. Pulled back and smashed clear by Alana Kennedy. Both these teams knowing that victory would take them into double figures in terms of their points tally. They move on to 10 from 4 and go top of the table. Emma Hayes' Chelsea play tomorrow. I also like these two on 7 from 3. Spurs top right now with 9 points from 4 games after a 4-2 impressive win at a pointless Aston Villa side earlier on today. Paterman round the corner. Half cut out by Chloe Kelly. Leicester City chasing a first win against Manchester City since September 2011 in the Women's Premier League Northern Division, 3 years before Manchester City turned fully professional. Ball forward has far too much on it for Khadija Bunny Shaw. First touch of the game for Janina Leitzig. Permanent signing in the summer from Bayern Munich, described it as an easy decision to stay. Said she fell in love with the club. Fans spent most of last season singing that they wanted her to stay, and she duly did in the end, having helped them secure survival. Greenwood not quite able to keep it in play. Nice little intricate touches in there. Hasegawa, always such a joyful technician to watch on the ball with the things she can do. She'll be key at the base of the Manchester City midfield. Back with Keating. The 19-year-old, talented teenager who came through the academy at Manchester City, very much one of their own. And Shaw wins the throw. Ali Roebuck yet to play in the WSL this season, of course, and then Sandy McKeever on the bench. 3 very good young goalkeepers for Manchester City to have at their disposal. Back with Keating. He made 3 league appearances for Manchester City last season. She's already gone past that figure. She's trying to find Alexandri. There is the aforementioned Sandy McKeever. Signed in the summer of 2022 from Everton. Has found playing time difficult at Manchester City in that very competitive goalkeeping department. As is Kelly. Lots of options arriving, but Kelly goes herself. An early warning strike from Chloe Kelly. Who already has a WSL goal this season. Kelly bursting forward. Fancying a shot on her left. Did set a new WSL record last season for chances created in a single campaign, the most by any player across the big 5 European leagues. So dangerous. Lupa Angeldal to put the corner in. Angeldal's corner, only half cleared to Hasegawa. Hasegawa puts it back in towards a dangerous area and it's headed just over the bar. Good early chance for Manchester City to grab the lead. Jill Roord, who's been in the goals ever since her summer switch. Almost making it 4 in 4 league games. Won the aerial contest, but just couldn't quite keep it down. The Dutch attacking midfielder. Who's added a really interesting dynamic to this Manchester City midfield. Probably the closest stylistically, player-wise, to Georgia Stanway, who they really missed last season after she went to Bayern Munich. By no means identical players, but certainly gives them driving cut and thrust in attack. So that's a slight foul on Rantala. Martini wanted to take it quickly, but it was a long way from where the free kick had been won. Leipzig is very comfortable as the very much modern sweeper keeper. Rantala. Finn just about got it out of trouble with the aid of a couple of deflections. CJ Bott. Nicely worked up this right flank. Kane couldn't quite get it forward though. Angled dart. Masigawa. Masigawa once more. Leicester City on the high press. Greenwood forced all the way back to Keating. Good pass from Keating. Shaw dropping deep and now turning and running, and that's always a dangerous prospect for a defence. Fowler is offside though. Mary Fowler, who's settling into a second season at Manchester City. Already it seems quite clear she's going to get a lot more game time this time around. She didn't get a single WSL start last season, Mary Fowler, playing 165 minutes. Whereas this season it's already become clear she's going to be a more regular part of Gareth Taylor's plans. Fowler has already played more minutes in the league this season than in all of last season put together. Shaw. Losing her footing, nothing given. Greenwood. Masigawa. Alexandri. Fowler. Just a slight foul on the Australian. It was a big part of the Matildas' story over recent times. Golden Girl nominee in 2023. Got 2 assists in the 5-0 win against Bristol City recently as well. She started to establish herself as a frequent starter in Manchester City's league team, having not started at all last season in the WSL. One back by Shaw, who's bundled to the ground. Julie Thibault, who effectively, manager Willie Kirk was joking pre-match, got herself selected for this one by Kirk saying to her, well, did you know how to deal with Shaw from your time at Bordeaux as teammates? And she said, yeah, I do. And Willie Kirk said, well, there you go then, you're back in the 11. Prove to us that you can. Easier said than done for Julie Thibault. Summer signing from Bordeaux, where Bunny Shaw had a spell before joining Manchester City in 2021. Fowler. Just a slightly heavy touch. CJ Bott. Well won by Alexandri. Good anticipation and strength from the Spaniard. Greenwood. Rolls Royce of a centre half, so comfortable bringing the ball out from the back. Etterman just putting Keating under pressure. Good composure from Kyra Keating. Keating finds Shaw, who nods it onto a bit of vacant space for Rord, and Rord switches it right wide. Real danger here. It's Kelly to strike. Oh, it's got under Leipzig and gone in. Chloe Kelly puts Manchester City in front. A moment to forget for Janina Leipzig, who's been such an incredible part of Leicester City's remarkable recovery across 2023. But we'll want to forget about that one. The German keeper, who was such a massive reason they stayed up last time around. There was not a deflection on it off Julie Thibault, who was sliding in to try and block it. A moment to forget for Janina Leitzig. She's one of Europe's finest, but that has slipped underneath her body. Oh, short, driving through. Almost a goal straight from the restart. Leicester City have got to recompose themselves here, and they've got to do it quickly. Shaw on the turn, and then driving forward, and once that starts, it's difficult to stop. Good block in there from Sam Tierney, and it needed to be. Greenwood's corner. Nodded towards goal. And saved by Leipzig, a pretty regulation save that one, to deny Khadija Bunny short. It already has 3 in the league this season. Took a slight deflection on the way through. She was one of the stars of Manchester City's in-house documentary, The Story of Our Season, last time around. There was a clip where Sean Goater, somewhat of a legend on the light blue side of Manchester, was working with Khadija Bunny Shaw and her movement patterns to employ. Also joking about feed the bun and she will score. Here come Leicester City looking for a reply. That's a teasing cross, only half cleared. And then just as Aileen Whelan was dreaming of something, it was half stopped again, still not clearly away. Pinballing around the penalty box, Nevin. Kane. Anna Kane, once of Everton, so dangerous with her pace in behind. Wasn't quite on the same wavelength as what Jutta Rantala was thinking of there. Tierney intercepts against Shaw. Leicester City desperate to show how much they've improved. Getting something in this fixture really would be a way to do that. 4-0, 5-0, 2-1, 6-0, 4-1, 5-0, 4-0, 4-0, 1-0 and 2-0. All to Manchester City. All Manchester City wins in the last 10 encounters between these two across all competitions. Leipzig cross field. Cut out by Morgan. Shaw. Holds off her defender and slips it through for Kelly. It's Chloe Kelly for 2-0, and it's a good save by Leipzig. Could have been 2 goals in a matter of 4 minutes or so for Chloe Kelly. I think was just trying to slide it under the body of the German. Again, you see, it's something that Manchester City have really consistently done, using Khadija Bunny Shaw's superb abilities with her back to goal. She'll drag the centre-halves out, and that creates the space in behind for the likes of Kelly, Broad, Fowler and Hemp when she's on the pitch. Cut out by Alessandri, but in turn won back by O'Brien. Now Bob. Well, when these sides first met in the WSL in November 2021, Jess Sigsworth had Leicester City in front after 58 seconds. And they went on to lose 4-1. They're already playing catch-up here. That slipped in behind. It was looking for Whelan. Didn't quite run. And the shot blocked by Hasegawa. Now Nevin. Khadija Bunny Shaw is down. It's not a head injury, so Leicester City aren't obligated to stop, nor is the referee. And so on we go. Tierney sends it forward. Both Whelan and Greenwood end up on the floor. Khadija Bunny-Shaw's left ankle. That's what's causing the Jamaican trouble. It's this collision with Sophie Howard that's causing the discomfort. Khadija Bunny-Shaw, who signed a 2-year contract extension in the summer, was a key player in Jamaica's World Cup run, despite picking up a red card in their opening game against France. He was named in the top 20 best players of the tournament. It was her brother who coined her now extensively used nickname of Bunny, which indeed is on the back of her shirt, due to her love of carrots. Jamaica's all-time top goal scorer, and you've already seen so far in this game, even if you were watching Manchester City for the very first time, just what she brings to the operation. Sophie Howard is having a bit of a chat with her boss Willie Kirk about how to deal with that threat. Taylor in conversation with his troops. Taylor, a journeyman striker once upon a time, who played for Manchester City from 1998 through to 2001, so he better than most will be able to truly admire what a brilliant player Khadija Bunny-Shaw is. Taylor also scoring once for Wales and representing his country 15 times. And then was appointed as a youth team coach at Manchester City, worked his way up through the system before becoming first team coach in 2020. I know Sean Gautreau as well has been working regularly with Khadija Bunny-Shaw on those little intricate aspects of forward play. Well, you can see she's still in some visible discomfort. She is about to head back on. Khadija Bunny-Shaw with that left ankle being strapped a bit more. Manchester City fans will be relieved to see that. They've got a heck of a lot of world-class talent, but they do not have another player quite like her. Indeed, there's very few players in terms of her ability and the type of centre-forward who can truly bully centre-backs that are quite like Khadija Bunny-Shaw. Leipzig. Held out by Alessandri. Really tough psychologically for Leipzig, having made that mistake early on for the goal, trying to refocus on what's to follow. Whelan with space and with options left and right. That's excellent defending from Felipe Angeldal. Now Shaw helps it back for Roord, who has Fowler to her left. Fowler. Deflected. Simple one for Leipzig. O'Brien. Loves to roam and he's dangerous in those wide areas, Shannon O'Brien. Fouled by Angeldal. Shannon O'Brien, who gets a lot of gentle stick in the Leicester City camp about her nationality. Not easy for me to say, not eligible to play for the Republic of Ireland despite her surname. Or indeed Northern Ireland. The player saying, you are Irish, aren't you? But she's Coventry, born and bred, very proud of her Coventry roots. Came through at Coventry United before signing for Leicester City in 2021. Shaw on the turn. And now Shaw with space opening up. She's been so impressive in the early part of this game. Has Fowler and Kelly. Goes for Fowler, but Fowler didn't quite time her run. Now they've had some real chances to go 2-0 up in Manchester City. This the latest of them. Barclays Women's Super League, worth reminding you. So he's up to the referee and the two assistants and the fourth official between them to make all decisions on the night. No extra technology available. Khadija Bunny-Shaw helps it in behind. What a player she's been in the early part of this game. Chance for 2-0 and just passed into the goalkeeper's hands. Esme Morgan finding herself in more of a centre-forward position than a right back. Such is the modern, fluid, flexible football that Manchester City play, but Keating has to be sprawling at the feet of Hannah Kane to claim that one. Very open, entertaining first quarter of this game. Again, joy for Manchester City going forward. Willie Kirk will be really concerned by how easily the visitors are opening his side up in this first quarter. Improved defence is one of the things that has been a key part of Leicester City's resurgence. Leicester City into their third WSL season, having won the championship in 2021. Keating with time to send it forward, and there's lots of space at the back. Desperate defence from Thibault. And then Angel almost nipped in. Was roared initially, fighting for it with Julie Thibault. It's a very good recovery challenge from Thibault. Described as a ball-playing French defender. Made a French international debut earlier on this year, but didn't make the 2023 World Cup squad. Did play in the Tournoi de France against Norway, Uruguay and Denmark. Described the Leicester City project as a perfect fit, and that she wanted to play beautiful football. Right now the Foxes are having to fight to stay in the contest. Morgan links up with Angel. Leicester again on the high press. It forces Keating to go long. And notice when she does that, she always looks, understandably so, for Khadija Bunny-Shaw. Cut out by Whelan, good interception, possibilities for Kane. Kane slips it on, chance for Peterman for 1-1. Saved by Keating. Encouraging signs for Leicester City, who've had to absorb a lot of pressure. But now, all created by that interception from Whelan, almost had an equaliser to celebrate. Good slipped pass through. And then Peterman already has a couple of goals for the Foxes since signing in the summer from Montpellier. Nearly had a third. Peterman, who's very much been signed as the focal point of the Leicester City attack. Can play wide in a 4-3-3, but is at her best and her most comfortable through the middle. German international, although her last cap came in 2020. Now here come the Foxes through Rantala. Rantala might shoot, Rantala does shoot, and it's too close to Keating. Very open first 25 minutes or so here at the King Power. Both sides showing plenty going forward and showing plenty of signs as to why they've had such impressive starts to the season. Manchester City, of course, drawing 1-1 against Chelsea and then winning 2-0 at West Ham and 5-0 at home against Bristol City in the league. And had that 2-1 win at Everton in the Conti Cup. Leicester 2-1 winners at Liverpool in their first game of the Conti Cup campaign, having already won 4-2 at Bristol City and then 1-0 at home against Everton, before getting that very creditable point against last season's runners-up Manchester United as Keating's almost closed down. Roord nods it on. You'd have to say both defences looking vulnerable. Clipped forward towards Shaw. Header well won by Howard. Game of head tennis ends up at the feet of Alex Greenwood. Big crossfield ball looking for Kelly. Dealt with well enough by Julie Thibault. Ellie Roebuck watching on. When she does get back between the sticks for Manchester City, is chasing Karen Bardsley's clean sheet record, 62 clean sheets for the club. Bardsley has 64. Dulles looking for Fowler. Dealt with unconvincingly, comes back for Shaw, who thought of shooting. And then hurriedly cleared by CJ Bott at the feet of Jill Roord. Gareth Taylor passing on instructions. Taylor, who does like a switch during a game. You will often see the wingers in particular, Fowler and Kelly, swap wings a lot. Even the midfield is very, very flexible. Kelly and Hemp, when they're in those two wing positions, often swap. Roord and Castellanos. Elena Castellanos switched in the number 10 role. Had a few times in games so far this season, most effectively recently at West Ham. Always handy, of course, to have someone like Lauren Hemp on the bench, and Steph Horton, amongst others. Lauren Hemp, who's talked in the past about her ambitions for management one day, reading Gareth Southgate's book and dreaming of one day being on the bench, but in the dugout. That's for a few years' time, though, of course. He's Fowler. Keating has to be careful back there. It's got herself into all sorts of a pickle. That's great work by Laia Alexandri. Now driving forward is Jill Roord, as she loves to do. Kelly. All inside. Thought of shooting for a second, Roord. Now Fowler trying to work her way through. Wasn't quite stopped by CJ Bott, but thankfully for Leicester City, Howard was not far behind. Mary Fowler, who recently Gareth Taylor said about her, we're starting to see the player we all thought we'd see. 20 years old, but already vastly experienced. Made her Australia international debut 5 years ago now. Tangle of legs in there, sliding challenge on Alexandri. Shaw to strike, deflected. Easy for Leipzig. O'Brien. Well, that does reflect what an open game it's been so far in this first half an hour. Manchester City with 8 shots to 3, 4-2 on shots on target, but Leicester City have certainly offered their share of a threat going forward too. Smashed clear by Thibault. And headed out by Morgan. You hear the home crowd desperate to get involved as well. Willie Kirk certainly giving them plenty to cheer about, the 45-year-old. Albeit he has a miserable record against Manchester City. He's lost all 12 WSL games against them when in the dugout. 5 at Bristol City, 6 at Everton, and once with Leicester. Ball in too close to Keating. Keating sends it very direct, was looking for a pocket of space, and they've managed to nip in behind. Great chance for Engeldahl to make it 2-0, saved by Leipzig off her foot and then headed off the line. Still there for Engeldahl, off the foot once more of Leipzig and bundled behind for a corner with Fowler waiting. Somehow Manchester City have not made it 2-0. Great goalkeeping from Janina Leipzig, even better when you put into context the mistake she made for the first goal. To psychologically reset and then make a big save like that off her left foot. And Engeldahl on the spin, and again it's the left foot of Leipzig, and then wide it goes. Desperate defence. And more of it is needed here. Low skidder of a corner. Hooked up. Here's Khadija Bunny-Shaw. Trying to go all the way through herself here. She nearly did as well. Courtney Nevin with the tackle. Comes off Roard. Leicester City will get the throw. Aileen Whelan having to use all of her experience here. Help guide this Leicester City side through what is a very tough game for them. And Leipzig at the back, stepping up there with a huge save. Good work back there from Jutta Rantola. Now Thibault spreads it wide looking for O'Brien. It's not the best pass though. Easily cut out by Esme Morgan. Heavy touch from Keating though. And then Morgan just puts her foot through it. Well, they are getting some joy from closing down Manchester City's talented teenager Kyra Keating in goal. That is clearly an area that Leicester City have identified they can target. Just a slightly heavy touch here. The pass maybe had a bit too much power on it though, but Keating does recover very well to save at the feet of Shannon O'Brien. Had O'Brien clipped that one through, she'd have had a chance to guide the ball into an empty net for 1-1. Fowler forward for Khadija Bunny-Shaw, who's been so good in this first half. And again, we'll have options arriving in the form of Roard and Kelly. Might just go it herself. Lovely step overs into Roard. It might run for Kelly. Scrambled clear for now. Philippa Engeldahl. Yui Hasegawa bursting forward. Shaw. Fowler. Plenty of white and maroon shirts forward. Fowler to strike one. Never quite had her angles right, and also had her head leaned back. Hence it flies over, but a warning shot from Mary Fowler. Here's the initial chance from Khadija Bunny-Shaw. Beautiful skills. Came off the chest of Roard, who I don't think was intending to get that through to Kelly. Chandri gets Manchester City going. City missing out in the top three last season by goal difference in what was a hugely transitional campaign. They were in the top three for only 7 weeks. They did have a 14-game unbeaten run, but they didn't beat any of the other so-called big four of Manchester United, Chelsea or Arsenal, and you'd say that's what cost them being in the European mix. Hannah Kane. Deflected cross, might work out, it almost did. Great save by Kyra Keating, who made herself big and kept her clean sheet. That's superb from the 19-year-old. There's some muted appeals for a a penalty from some Leicester City players and the home fans. Absolutely not. Keating makes herself big and clearly makes the save. Awkward deflection off Alexandri. Almost turned in by Sam Tierney for what could have been her first Foxes goal. Now here's O'Brien. Has a go. Keating had been set in her feet for the cross and then had to jump back to her left. Really good spell this for Leicester City. And they make it count. Cleverly worked short corner straight off the training ground. Return ball from Courtney Nevin. Found O'Brien in room. Courtney Nevin's corner. Keating came and didn't quite get there. O'Brien back towards goal and stabbed away by Alexandri. Back in once more, little flick header. It was another good cross from Nevin. Leicester City desperate to keep the pressure on. Lovely takedown there from Aileen Whelan, and the pass as well to find Nevin. Possibilities. Nevin will want this on her left foot if she can. Clever shielding from O'Brien. And now O'Brien, and turned goalwards and wide. Another Leicester City corner. It could have been so much more. It nearly was so much more. Lovely work from Shannon O'Brien. And Alana Kennedy was there to make the block. Came off the lower stomach of the Australian centre-back. Another corner for Leicester City. Swung in by Nevin, and this time Keating dropped it and would have been the most relieved person in Leicester to catch it on the rebound off the ground. Again, though, very clear that in-swinging corner with a lot of bodies around Kyra Keating could cause some problems. It was actually Khadija Bunny Shaw who inadvertently got in her own teammate's way there. Thibault. Leipzig. Ends up at the feet of Roord. Fowler. Crossfield didn't quite make it through to its intended destination of Kelly. Comes off O'Brien and out for a throw-in. Willie Kirk having a think about what he's seen so far. Plenty for him to be encouraged by, despite the scoreline, particularly in the last 5 minutes or so. But here come Manchester City. Kelly. Roord. Willie Kirk, who's so experienced in the WSL as well. Of course, from his time with Bristol City, Manchester United as an assistant manager, and then 3 years or so with Everton. Gareth Taylor not quite so much. He's come through the coaching system at Manchester City before taking charge of the Citizens in 2020. Alexandri goes short. Keating under pressure from O'Brien. That's going to be a regular theme of this contest, you sense. Keating being made to hurry more than she might like, as that's late from Whelan and Alexandri. Laia Alexandri into her second season at Manchester City after signing from Atletico Madrid. Described as being almost like a captain without being one by her boss Gareth Taylor. One of last 15, the 15 Spanish players who objected to playing for the Spanish women's national team because of the now well-known extensive off-field issues there. Very classy, impressive defender. Plenty in today, and you've heard as soon as Leicester City have built promisingly, that home crowd really get involved and make a difference in lifting the Foxes. Khadija Bunny Shaw ends up running into Sam Tierney, who clears in such a way that almost worked out well for Leicester City. Just looking for the pace of Kane on the counter-attack. Good work by Greenwood. Given away by Howard. Greenwood again, looking for that threaded ball through to Kelly. And CJ Bott had to be very careful. There's a twist at the back end of this first half. CJ Bott, who is one of the stars of New Zealand's Women's World Cup campaign, became a bit of a social media star as well across it, one of the most comfortable in front of the camera. He said in a documentary that followed New Zealand through their journey, "I feel like I came out of the womb ready for a camera." New Zealand, of course, one of the co-hosts of that tournament. Roard dropping deep, and then Roard clipping a delightful ball over the top to invite Chloe Kelly into a foot race. Slightly heavy touch from Kelly though. Allows Bott to see it out. Hasegawa. Angodal. Kicked at the referee. Totally unintentionally, of course, which means that a restart is necessary. Those that really do follow the WSL closely will remember once upon a time a quite famous late goal between Arsenal and Manchester City. And the ball hit the referee and that restart should have been done as it was there, and unfortunately was not, and had a very crucial impact on the result. Khadija Bunny Shaw dropping into her own half just to help her side out against Leicester's high press. Alexandri. Now Shaw, Alexandri has underlapped. Kelly couldn't quite get past Bott. CJ Bott, who signed a new 2-year contract in the summer. That was one of the priorities of Leicester City after staying up to get various players who've been a big part of the rescue effort into being a longer-term part of Willie Kirk's plans. It's interesting, Manchester City have talked as well about prioritising re-signing over new signings in recruitment. New director of football, Nils Nilsson, who was appointed in the summer, said their priority was to keep hold of world-class talent already at the club, as opposed to immediately looking to sign more. So that's forward towards Kelly and cut out by Bott in the nick of time. Manchester City hunting a second goal, which on the balance of play would be very, very harsh. Cleverly worked short corner. And now it comes from Morgan. He might strike one, does strike one. And Leipzig was concerned. but it drifts wide. What a goal that would have been from Esme Morgan. Doesn't score many, the defender. Lifelong Manchester City fan, very much lives and breathes the light blue side of Manchester. Made her first team debut and got her GCSE results both in the same week once upon a time. As a kid, she would only go on long walks if she was allowed to bring her football, Esme Morgan. That's how obsessed she was with the game. It's now nearing 50 WSL appearances for Manchester City. This is her 47th, Esme Morgan. Skills from Bott, who then ran into Rord. Time whistle not too far away. Lovely spin from Jutta Rantalat. Clever work from the Finn. Summer signing from Leicester in Sweden. Scored 2 goals on debut in the 4-2 win at Bristol City, including one 4 minutes into her first game for Leicester. And spent an entire club career in Finland and Sweden before joining the Foxes. Thibault loses it. Howard. Stopped by Fowler. Thibault just smashes it out. Well, I'm sure one of the big conversations in the Leicester City changing room is about how to stop Khadija Bunny short. Easier said than done. She's been such a focal point for Manchester City going forward. As Thibault sees that one out. Of course, remember the 3 minutes added on is a minimum. Half-time here at the King Power Stadium. A really entertaining, open, attacking half of football, reflecting two sides who both have the confidence of being unbeaten across all 4 games in all competitions so far this campaign. It's Chloe Kelly's goal in the 10th minute that is the difference between the two sides. Her second WSL goal of the season means that at half-time, it's Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1.
The meaning is the belief that perfection lies within the details, where the finest ingredients deserve the finest craftsmanship. In every pursuit of perfection, there is passion and perseverance, where attention to detail inspires a masterpiece.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Starting with Manchester City almost grabbing the early lead. Yu Hasegawa flipping it into a very dangerous area, headed over by Jill Rord. Couldn't quite make it. 4 goals in 4 league games since signing in the summer from Wolfsburg for a British record £300,000, which made her the second most expensive player in the world behind Kira Walsh. Just couldn't quite keep the header down. And Khadija Bunny Shaw, as she so often loves to do, dropping deep, linking the play. It's a great reverse pass from Jill Rord. And then Chloe Kelly puts her foot through it, but in truth it's a strike that you would expect a goalkeeper of the quality of Janina Leipzig to save. Leipzig, of course, has been a massive... It can happen to all the very best goalkeepers, though, of course. Goalkeepers are human beings like all of us, and we all make mistakes. So Hasegawa sends that forward to Shaw. And then Kelly finds the feet of Leipzig, who responded magnificently in the way that any world-class goalkeeper does to that mistake, by making a series of brilliant stops to keep it at 1 conceded by her going into the half-time break. This was one of them. Could have been 2 goals in 4 minutes for Chloe Kelly. Leicester City did grow into the game. Nice interception from Aileen Whelan here. And Shannon O'Brien slipped it through for Lena Koteman, who couldn't quite add to her tally, having scored 2 on her Fox's debut earlier on this season against Bristol City. Nice stop by talented teenager Kyra Keating. It's by no means the only chance that the Foxes had going forward. But they had their fair share of defending to do. This was one of those moments. Filippa Angeldal, the Swedish midfielder, got through. I mentioned about how magnificently Leipzig responded to her mistake. 2 great saves, both from her left foot here. That was the second of them right there, and then scramble defence from Sophie Howard helped to get it out. And this was the cross deflected from Kane, and a good save made by Keating. Leicester City showing very much with how they've matched Manchester City, not maybe quite across the entire 45 minutes on the run of the play, but certainly in what they've created, about how much they've improved this season. And then Nevin's crosses causing problems from that right-hand side on her left foot, but this time it was her slipping it infield to O'Brien. Had a mazy run, and it was only the lower stomach of Alana Kennedy that prevented it going to 1-1 here. Tierney's shot blocked.
Opportunity, but she runs into Janina Leipzig, who was pretty quickly off of her goal line to gather up here for Leicester City. Helped on by Missy Goodwin, and Whelan trying to spin, but there's no room in there. She was quickly closed down by Manchester United. And now Leticia flings the ball forwards, finding Paris, who's away. Nikita Paris sees the effort, well saved by Janina Leipzig. Good pressure again from Leicester, but it has been bypassed here by Manchester United, and Nikita Paris is away. Finds Garcia. And she'll have another go here, Lucia Garcia. Plays the pass to Zellum, pushed away by Janina Leipzig. Came in at a really nice height for the Leicester City goalkeeper, given away by Leicester. Vieira lifting into the penalty area, drops pretty kindly, and it's rattled onto the crossbar. Miyazawa arriving with a brilliant chance to score just before half-time, And unbelievably, she sees the effort come back off of the crossbar. We have a minute and a half to go before the break. And Manchester United are trying to force their way forward again. Riviera with a crossing opportunity, feeds in towards Garcia. Brilliant stop. Leipzig is there to push around the post. Well, it will drop pretty kindly here, and Leicester have managed from the free kick to squeeze the ball into the back of the net. Whelan is there with a really clever finish, and Manchester United have been punished for not clearing the ball away, but it dropped ever so kindly here for Aileen Whelan. Zellum whips one in, and Manchester United are level. Letizia attacks the header and directs it towards that far corner. Brilliantly worked by Manchester United. It's Manchester United 1, Leicester 1. Manchester United pushing, Toon trying to find a way through. Loses possession, and now Rose is away. Rose here for Leicester with a chance to strike. Brilliant challenge by Riviera. Rose still with possession. Tierney through and into the box, and then Lena Peterman brings out the best from England's number 1. Zellum, good looking ball. Wonderful ball in by Zellum. I thought this was the moment. Paris denied.
Welcome back to the King Power Stadium for the second half of Leicester City versus Manchester City. 1-0 to the visitors at the break, thanks to Chloe Kelly's second WSL goal of the campaign, coming in the 10th minute after neat hold-up play from Khadija Bunny-Shaw, as always. And then a lovely threaded pass from Jill Roord. There's been plenty of goal-scoring action at both ends since, though. The point where one's almost surprised we only saw a single goal in that first half. Leicester City in all deep blue with the white trimmings, attacking from right to left now. Manchester City in the white and maroon, kicking from left to right. Both sides knowing a win would take them top of the table for now at least. They'd move on to 10 points from 4. Chelsea can join them on that exact figure tomorrow with victory and potentially be above them on goal difference, depending on the size of their possible win if they were to win tomorrow. That one of 4 WSL games. Chelsea at home against Brighton, who have 1 win so far. Everton against Manchester United. And then West Ham versus Liverpool and Bristol City versus Arsenal, which rounds off the match day. Teams running across your screen, both unchanged. Been interesting to watch the tactical intricacies of that first half. Manchester City in a 4-3-3, but it's always extremely flexible. And Leicester City, it seems, in a variation of a 3-4-1-2, albeit Willie Kirk does like to be very tactically flexible too. It's been a real theme of his tenure. Kirk was telling the Their Pitch podcast not so long ago, when he was director of football, that couldn't see himself really returning to being a head coach unless it was at a Champions League level, such was his enjoyment of the more upstairs role. But not too long afterwards, poor form under Lydia Bedford led to him stepping from being director of football into the dugout for the Foxes and keeping them up last season. No foul given there for the challenge on Angel Dahl by Thibault. Filippa Angeldal, the Swedish international, and joined Manchester City in 2021. And that replay would suggest maybe it should have been a foul, because Angeldal had certainly helped the ball on and then had her foot stood on. Angeldal has sometimes struggled for playing time at Manchester City, starting to grow into a more regular role in the midfield. Greenwood forward. Cleared away by Howard. Hasegawa brings it down. Good skills back there from CJ Bott, up against the press of Hasegawa, the diligent press of Yuri Hasegawa. And that had gone out for a throw. Khadija Bunny-Shaw is down now. Well, neither Shaw nor Howard came out of that collision particularly well. Khadija Bunny-Shaw, who is one of the great characters of the Manchester City dressing room, had a bet with goalkeeper Sandy McKeever last season that she would get braids in her hair if the Jamaican scored a hat-trick against Spurs, and after she'll manage to duly carry through on that, McKeever obliged, sporting her new braids cut at training the following week, much to her teammates' amusement. That was one of the things featured on Manchester City's Story of Our Season documentary that's now out. Even if you're not a Manchester City fan, an interesting look behind the scenes at life at a top WSL club. Well, thankfully, both players seem okay to continue, albeit both seem to be walking a touch gingerly. Manchester City, one of the top clubs in the WSL, but of course, to their great frustration, not one of the top clubs in Europe right now, you'd have to say. not quite been achieving what they'd want in Europe. Finished 4th last season, didn't even make it into Champions League qualifying, and 3rd the season before that. Had a history of being knocked out by Spanish sides in qualifying. And of course, it's been a tough week for other English sides in qualifying. Manchester United dumped out by Paris Saint-Germain in the French capital. And Arsenal had already gone out in the first qualifying round. Also heartbreak to a Parisian team, losing to Paris FC. Here's Shannon O'Brien. O'Brien dancing towards the penalty area, stopped by Morgan. Good recovery from Esme Morgan. O'Brien arced her run really nicely there. Morgan showed good anticipation to capitalise and nick it out for a set piece. Another in-swinging corner. They caused problems in the first half. It has again here. It was almost nodded in on the line. Recycled back for Rantala. Rantala's cross. Dropped by Keating. Stabbed goalwards. All very frantic in there. Manchester City get it away. Back in by CJ Bott. Alexandri's header. Now Khadija Bunny Shaw in an auxiliary left-back position. Keating is down, holding her left ankle. Not a head injury. So no obligation from Leicester City to stop. Nervous moments for Kiara Keating. Asagawa dispossessed. O'Brien has options left and right. Might just go herself here. Eventually tried to slip it in behind, and then a frustrated foul. Milana Kennedy brings a bit of relief for Manchester City. Had to absorb a lot of pressure in those last few moments. That one's gone all the way through. You'd have to say both sides' defences have not looked overly convincing in this contest. Both teams have had plenty of opportunities. One's almost a bit surprised that it's still 1-0. Thibaut pushed by Chloe Kelly. Thibaut was looking for the switch to Shannon O'Brien, who was in space. Thibaut, part of what's been a big summer of change at Leicester City. 16 players leaving. The biggest blow was the departure of Ashley Plumter to Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia. They did manage to secure the permanent signatures of Courtney Nevin and Anina Leipzig, who both impressed so much when on loan last season. Nevin on loan from Hammarby in Sweden, and Leipzig from Bayern Munich. Kiara Keating looks crossfield, zings it onto the chest of Fowler. Put out by Whelan, who did manage to nick it off Alexandri for a throw. Thibaut trying to win it back, and does win it back. As you can see, might be nominally a defender, but has plenty of licence to get forward in this system. It does take a lot of courage to play front foot press like this against Manchester City, but causing the visitors a lot of problems with it. Fowler. Now Alexandri. Khadija Bunny Shaw. Bursting through one tackle. And it's a good recovery from Sophie Howard in what's been a fascinating running battle all evening. Khadija Bunny Shaw is down. Esme Morgan. Going to be fascinating to see the impact the benches will have in this one. Greenwood zings one, but too much on it for Fowler. Look at what Manchester City have got, it's almost frightening. Kirsten Kasperi, Dutch fullback Dana Castellanos, who is such an exciting, creative player to watch. The Venezuelan Laura Coombs, the Lionesses midfielder Lauren Hemp, needs no introduction. A world-class winger Steph Horton, and Ruby Mace, as well as Leila Wahabi as defensive reinforcements. Jess Park, whose 22nd birthday it is today, back from her loan spell at Everton. And Sandy McKeever in goal. That is one heck of a bench. That's forward, it might run for Kelly. Leipzig is there. Leicester City have talked about their improved bench strength. They certainly have players that can come on and impact a game. In terms of looking for a goal, you'd probably say Kian Rose, the Canadian winger, impressed at Reading last season before that ACL injury, would be the one you might most look to, as well as Missy Goodwin. Asagawa. Khadija Bunny Shaw up against Howard and winning the free kick. I want to take it quickly, a little bit too quickly for the referee's liking. Khadija Bunny Shaw, such a difficult, impressive all-round player for a defence to stop. Not a good pass from Kennedy, who's got away with it. It ends up at the feet of Alexandri. Shaw does a little dummy for herself. Now Kane trying to get in behind with her pace against Greenwood, who uses all of her experience to good effect. And back by Bott. And you can see the visible frustration as now it goes round the corner. Almost ran for Kane. Well, Willicoat will be really pleased with how his Leicester City side have come out and played at the start of this second half. Kirku likes a possession-based style. Fascinating quote from me. He said, "We averaged 40% possession," and the players looked to me as if to say, he's lost the plot. By the end of the season, we had more of the ball in 6 of our last 7 games. Talking about his player surprise when initially he came in and said that he wanted them to try and dominate the ball. Very impressive, the transformation he brought into that side last season. CJ Bott saying he's been great from the get-go. He set a new standard with the bar he put in place. Advantage play, but we'll come back. This could be a card. While that's going on, we can have another look at the chaos that Rantala's cross caused. Dropped by Keating. And then Whelan towards goal. And Kiara Keating, when trying to clear it, saw it understandably thumped clear by one of her teammates. Seen up by Morgan for a goal kick. Thinking to do for Gareth Taylor. Found it tougher in recent seasons, Manchester City. Identical last couple of campaigns in terms of results. 15 wins, 2 draws and 5 losses. That's brought them finishes of 3rd and 4th. Which, when you think that they won the WSL in 2016 and then had 5 consecutive second-place finishes, including the 2017 Spring Series, has been something of a disappointment. Here's Kane. Kane's cross, gathered well by Kiara Keating. Good work from the goalkeeper, who's had plenty to do in this second half. Lovely reverse ball from Shannon O'Brien. Hannah Kane does everything right. Willie Kirk talked about the pace that she offers in behind. You saw a demonstration of that there. Up next for Leicester City, Liverpool away on the 5th of November. Arsenal at home on the 12th. Spurs at home on the 19th. And then they play Manchester City again in the Cup on the 22nd of November. At that time the game will be up north. on the blue side of Manchester. Not wanting further punishment on Roord for the challenge. It was a late, clumsy tackle from the Dutch midfielder. Very well travelled. 26 years old, has already had spells with Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Twente, as well as with VfL Wolfsburg. They were one of the shock teams to not make the Champions League group stages after losing in midweek to Paris FC. Double change coming here from Manchester City. This is simply frightening stuff in terms of the quality that they can bring on. Mary Fowler, 20-year-old Australian winger, comes off. Along comes a certain Lauren Hemd. Will be flying down the left wing, but does often tend to switch flanks. And also on is Jess Park on her 22nd birthday. She had a fantastic loan spell with Everton last season. That is what has earned her the right to come back to Manchester City and be very much a part of Gareth Taylor's first team plans. Thibaut. So a double change in those wing positions. It's a very common substitution that Gareth Taylor likes to make as his first one. In and around the hour mark. It's often pretty prejudged. He'll tell his starting two wingers either side of Khadija Bonny-Shaw that they're likely to be changed in and around that point of the game. By no means a prescriptive plan, but it is one often seen by Manchester City, and so it has happened again there. So we'll score Kelly off with Fowler. Here's Hemp, trying to make an instant impact. Going round the outside, stopped by CJ Bott. Definitely a psychological aspect to it as well for the Leicester City defence. You've been dealing with the quality of Chloe Kelly and Mary Fowler all game, and then you see Jess Park and Lauren Hemp come on. Makes you think, my goodness me, it's not going to get any easier. Here's Khadija Bonny-Shaw, wins the corner. Manchester City hunting a second goal to give them control of this game. It's been Leicester City who've looked more likely to find an equaliser than the Citizens have to find a second after the break so far, but that can all change here. And swinging corner. Caught well by Leipzig, who immediately is keen to get the counter-attack going. Thibaut. Wanted to find the pace of Kane, couldn't quite do so. Alexandri just taking her time. Shaw bundled off it, the home crowd like that. Good defence from Alexandri. Nice work from Sophie Howard. The former Reading and Hoffenheim defender who's been a regular fixture in the Foxes lineup ever since signing in 2020. One of rare survivors from the team that came up from the second division, part of the team that got promoted in the 2020-21 campaign. Scottish international, part of the country's recent Nation League games against England and Belgium. The Nations League, something of a new thing to the women's game. Here's Hemp. Hemp going round the outside, burning that pace, and well saved, and over on the rebound. A great chance for 2-0 and a great chance for a birthday goal for Jess Park. two substitutes almost combining, albeit Hemp very much had eyes for goal herself. Great flying save by Leipzig. And Park following in, like all good forward players are told to. Can't believe it. She had to take it first time, really, given the pace that it came at her. And the fact there was covering defence flying in. Parky turns 22 today. Could have become the third City player to score on their birthday. Steph Horton did it on the 23rd of April earlier on this year, and Ellen White did it back in May 2021. Clipped forward towards Hemp, who was trying to nick it in behind for Park. And good work from CJ Bott. Clever, intricate ball through, but stopped by Alana Kennedy. Australian using all her experience. Game starting to really open up. Leicester City understandably throwing caution to the wind. O'Brien. Lots of space here. And then just trying to work it into the feet of Peterman. Santini was urged to shoot by the home crowd, but was hunting a pass instead. Well, even if Leicester City do lose this game, they're once again showing how much they've improved. There's no doubt about that. It would only be the most extreme pessimist that would think the Foxes are going to spend a third straight WSL season in a relegation battle based on how they've started. As for Manchester City, of course, the first goal would be a top three finish, get themselves into Champions League qualifying for next season. They've lost 5 games in each of their last 2 WSL campaigns, so they've lost 10 games across the last 2 seasons before this one, which is actually more games lost than in the previous 6 seasons put together, when they'd only lost 9. That reflects how not only the strength of the league has increased, but they found it slightly tougher going in recent campaigns. Rord sets it wide for Hemp. We've seen a lot of the ball. Hemp's teasing cross. Important header from Sophie Howard to stop Khadija Bunny-Shaw. Midway point of this second half. And after Leicester City had a good spell not long after the break, it's Manchester City coming stronger into the contest in recent times, as they hunt a second goal they'd hope would go a long way to securing victory. Towards the penalty box. And the shot only half cleared. More hit the player who was coming off the line than really knowing much about it, but it was effective regardless. Recycled by Howard. Ball wide from Rantala. Cut out by Alexandri. Heavy touch from Keating. O'Brien was sniffing something in there. Thibault with the clever back heel. Strike from distance. Clara Keating has it covered. Rantala trying her luck. Finn trying to fly one into the far bottom corner. As the top goal scorer in the league at Vittsjö in Sweden in both of her last couple of seasons there. At the other end, that was Hasegawa. Block made by Sam Tierney, meaning that Leipzig wasn't needed to make a save. That angle would suggest Leipzig might have just about had it covered, particularly given her quality as a keeper. Sophie Howard's down. That'll be a concern for Leicester City. The experienced Scot, who's a regular presence at the heart of their defence. She's had a running battle with Khadija Bunny Shaw all day and just came off that particular one the worst of the two. Howard, who was born in Germany but plays for Scotland as a result of her Scottish grandfather. And that injury delay just gives a chance for Willie Kirk to pass on instructions. Chloe Kelly's goal, the difference. Keeps up Manchester City's impressive run. They've scored in their last 24 WSL games. Last time they failed to was in September 2022, that 2-0 loss at Chelsea. You might remember they started last season with back-to-back defeats, which set them very much on a difficult course in terms of trying to finish in the top three. A little pre-rehearsed celebration from Chloe Kelly with Yui Hasegawa. That's the goal that is the difference. Scored what feels like a long time ago in the 10th minute of this one. There's been a lot of good opportunities for both sides since. Both keepers have had to make some decent saves. Plenty more twists and turns left in this one. CJ Bott with the throw. Just having to wait a second though, because Willie Kirk will finally go to his bench. And it is the player who I particularly highlighted in terms of being the first one they might turn to open this game up and get themselves an equaliser. Deanne Rose, summer signing from Reading on a 2-year contract, missed most of last season due to an ACL injury. Made just 3 league appearances due to having to deal with that. Has played in so many big games and big moments for the Canadian women's national team, including in 2 World Cups. Got her first cap as a 16-year-old, had a very productive spell at the Florida Gators before coming to Reading, where she made her name in the WSL, but had already impressed elsewhere, including in Canada's run to winning gold at the Olympics in Tokyo. Eileen Whelan makes way. Rantella's little header towards Rose. And then driven goalwards, but wide on the spin. Real scramble for it back there. Kennedy's header, and then eventually Nina Peterman trying her luck. German international, who's talked about the fact that it's always been a dream to play in England. He's now getting that chance after 4 seasons at Montpellier. He's also played for the UCF Knights in the USA, and then at Turbine Potsdam, one of the great historic German women's football teams, as well as Freiburg and Hamburg in Germany too. Rose, very good direct runner, but that time stopped by Morgan. Khadija Bunny Shaw round the corner, and now Hemp can stride away. Covering defence does just enough. Great work by CJ Bott. She had to win that, and she did. Heavy touch from Peterman, albeit it was hit with some pace in towards her feet. Alexandri gets the 1-2. Leicester City on the high press, as you'd expect with a scoreline as it is, and just over a quarter of an hour plus stoppages left. This is classic Khadija Bunny Shaw coming deep to link the play. And skipped away and needed stopping and was stopped. Lauren Hempy's talked about the fact that she feels like a Manchester City veteran, 23 years old. Already has passed 100 appearances for the Citizens, has a framed 100th shirt on her wall at home. Talked about the fact she'd run through brick walls for this team. She has no shortage of admirers. Her boss Gareth Taylor saying she doesn't know how good she is. And women's football legend Kelly Smith talking about how Lauren Hemp gets her off her feet. Good pressing from Angle Dahl to win it back off Thibault, and then Khadija Bunny Shaw falls over when trying the spin shot. Relief for Leicester City. Rose. Space and time to run. Peterman goes down in an off-the-ball incident. Chance for Kane. Kane's ball in, too close to Kiara Keating. Leicester City not happy about Manchester City being in no rush. That, of course, has been somewhat topical after Alex Greenwood was sent off somewhat unusually, shall we say, in the 37th minute of the 1-1 draw against Chelsea, getting a second yellow card for time wasting. Raw. Was having a shirt pull. We're playing advantage, though. It's a good advantage and one that might work out for Man City. It's a 3-on-2. Jess Park has options. One of them's Khadija Bunny Shaw. It runs towards Hemp. Really good save by Leipzig. Did very well to keep that one out. The whistle had gone anyway. Not that the impressive German goalkeeper was to know that. My goodness me, she recovered well from that mistake early on. Khadija Bunny Shaw shimmies. And a great save again from Leipzig. My goodness me. What an example of resilience and ability combining together. This was Shaw shimming onto her left to get past Howard. Oh, you can see why Leipzig, having only joined mid-season from Bayern Munich on loan last time around, ended up winning Player of the Year and Players Player of the Year at Leicester City. And indeed finished in the Opta team of the season for the division. Greenwood's corner. Headed away. And Goodall looks back. Rose charging forward. She is the kind of player that really does get you not just onto the edge of your seat, but off it. Park. Same can be said for her. Great work by Jess Park. Khadija Bunny Shaw. Tries to slide it through for Hemp, just a bit too much on it. Will still run for Hemp though. He's looking for the pullback. Leipzig can dive on it. A frantic contest, which is gathering pace. Manchester City certainly in no mood to sit off at 1-0. They want a second goal to go and try and kill this game in their favour. Desperate to improve that WSL form. 10 losses in their last 48 games across the last couple of seasons. And this one, having lost 9 in their previous 100 matches before that. They need better form than that. Try and break back into that top 3, particularly with the emergence of Manchester United, their cross-town rivals, who of course took second last season. Here's Hemp. Twisting and turning. Classic Hemp this. Deflected, wins the corner. Lovely work from Lauren Hemp. absolute defender's nightmare. And being very careful with managing her minutes, Manchester City. Of course, with part of the Lionesses side that made it all the way through to the Women's World Cup final. And there was the Euros the summer before, so it's a hot topic as itself, and is a pretty relentless schedule between club and country for players like Lauren Hemp, and of course Manchester City have got plenty of those in their squad. Now Goodall's corner. Greenwood almost got there. We'll get another corner, which Greenwood will come across to take. Greenwood, who's such a massive asset to this Manchester City side, in the last 18 months or so has really settled into this role of being a left centre-back as opposed to a left-back. Credits Gareth Taylor with having the vision to put her there. As Greenwood puts that in. Of course, it must be said, it was a big injury crisis as well that led to the move. As Morgan puts that in again, headed away by Howard. Now Rose is there fighting for it, up against Kennedy. And now the referee will just stop and bring things back. Head injury in the Leicester City box. Shannon O'Brien down, to the delight of the home fans, all good. O'Brien, part of the Leicester City side that got promoted to the WSL. Energetic midfielder. Has a lot of top flight experience for someone who's only 22. Leipzig clears. Came off the head of Angeldal, who's now leading the press. Nicely worked out of that tight space though. Thibault sends it forward for Rose to chase. Morgan has to be careful and goes safety first. Not long left in this one. Can Leicester City pinch an equaliser? They've lost all of their last 10 meetings with Manchester City before this one. All of their last 10 in the era where Manchester City have been fully professional. To go back to September 2011 in the Women's Premier League North. So that's fired towards Kiara Keating, for whom it's a pretty simple gather. Nice hold-up play from Peterman, just making enough of a nuisance of herself that Kennedy's header went into harm's way. Santini with the shot. Santini still yet to get her first Leicester City goal, but described by Willie Kirk as a consistent and reliable performer at the base of that midfield. Also been building her life off the field, graduated from Sheffield Hallam University with a degree in sports development and coaching. Well, you can see that tells you a lot about what an entertaining game it's been. 16-12 on shots, that is well above average for a WSL fixture, and 7-6 as well on shots on target. It's been a really entertaining open contest as Raud tries to fight her way through. You normally see at some point across the 91 side content to absorb and sit a bit deeper for a period of time. Neither side really has at any point. It's been a really fascinating game to watch. The only real surprise, given those stats in terms of shots, is that there's only been one goal. The chest of Peterman. Masagawa got caught in something of a sandwich. Khadija Bunny-Shaw looking to get there. She nearly did as well. Needed to be stopped by Courtney Nevin. Tierney, cut out by Alexandri, taken down by Hasegawa. Still plenty of time for a clear-cut chance, or two to be created by either of these sides. And the way they've been playing, I would think that there's plenty more to come. Excellent sliding challenge. Well, it caught a decent chunk of the ball, but it's given as a foul as well against Shannon O'Brien, and a yellow card. Maybe just a touch too dangerous. Well, let's have another look. She does seem to get a bit of the ball, but does get a bit of like Alexandria as well. One can somewhat understand the home fans' frustrations. That will be Shannon O'Brien's final action of the game. And on comes Missy Goodwin, who's been a real live wire in danger in the inside forward position so far this season. Hasn't got long to make an impact, Missy Goodwin. Initially joined on a short-term contract in January 2022. Signed a new long-term deal in July. Likes to take players on and make things happen, Goodwin. Thibault, who's been moved into a more advanced position in this second half as Leicester City chase an equaliser. Just a slight foul in there from Angeldal. Luca Angeldal, who came onto Manchester City's radar after an impressive campaign at the Tokyo Olympics for Sweden. Part of the side that lost in the final. Part of the Sweden team that so often in big tournaments across quite a while now with their golden generation have come close, but not quite taking the most coveted prize of all. Rose. Is there a late twist here? Leicester City do get something out of this. You'd say they've really earned it. Press being applied by CJ Bott. He's just a bit too eager in that, committing the foul on Park. Jess Park, who scored 79 seconds into her Lionesses debut in November of last year in the 4-0 win against Japan. Recently was called up to the squad for the Nations League matches in November. Plenty of Manchester City players there, as you'd expect. Have no shortage of company from club teammates. The likes of Kiara Keating, Lauren Hemp, Chloe Kelly. And then former Manchester City players Kira Walsh, Georgia Stanway and Lucy Bronze are all there. Current citizen Esme Morgan is also part of it, as is Alex Greenwood. Really quite desperate to see his side take something from this one. It really would be a sign of Leicester City's evolution. Been a lot of improvements off the field. They've taken over the men's former training facility at Belvoir Drive ever since January of last year. That's really helped them to keep building, as well as for a considerable period of time now playing all their home games here at the King Power, which is a magnificent facility. Here's Rose on the turn. That's when she's so dangerous. Spins away from Morgan, who has to try and keep up. He did well on the recovery. Now Ranteler. Ranteler has, I think, might have been a shot in the end. May have been a cross. Seemed to touch off balance, the Finn, and hooked straight out. And two new signings linking up together. Jutta Ranteler, a Finnish international, scored in their recent Nations League win against Slovakia. And already has a couple of goals in a Leicester City shirt. Rose. Thibault. Fouled by Angeldal, who will pick up a yellow card. To the enjoyment of the home fans. So a minimum of 5 minutes added on at the back end of this one. Plenty of time for Leicester City to find an equaliser. Real fight for the ball against Alexandru. Referee keen to let play go on wherever possible. Alexandru does well in the battle and eventually wins the free kick as well. Bunny short finds Hemp. Nice work back there from Rose. Good physicality from Thibaut. A bit of luck on the deflection, but now it's fallen for Manchester City to try and get a second. Park loses out. Roared again.